Hi, so today we've got something a little interesting. So, I've been contemplating, I've been playing with VR for a while now. I was having a look at the Meta Store, I was sort of seeing what was coming in, what was, how things were sort of progressing just in terms of, how big the store's getting. And it seems to be that we're going through a phase where there is actually quite a bit of adoption, but there's not a lot of content. So, I was thinking to myself, fantastic opportunity to delve into this. I've never done XR or VR development. I've got a Quest 3, and it's fantastic. So, what better opportunity as a software developer to try and create something that's unique, that we can essentially go from nothing, experience-wise anyway, to fully fledged app within the Meta Quest store. So, when I say I've got no experience here, I really mean it. So this sort of series is going to look at one sort of game concept, and we're going to try and, I guess, see where we get to. Just to give you a bit of context, before I was a software developer, I done 3D computer animation. So there was a lot of sort of 3D modeling, there was a lot of sort of video production. It was a fairly creative sort of course before I went into the purely technical side of things. So I think it's the perfect combination because of that to sort of look at both game design, 3D modeling, software development that's associated with all this, through to publishing to, the Quest store, and sort of seeing how that all works. So follow the journey. From my initial research, there's not a lot of content out there to really help with making this. So this is very much going to be a trial and error. We'll see how far we get with this project. We might have to ditch it, who knows. There's some documentation on Meta about the sort of locomotion type what am I trying to say? The locomotion types and also the VR rigs. Past that, it seems to be a few sort of engine examples that pretty much stem, the main content. So from when it comes to like grabbable items and sort of different sort of VR controls, through to sort of user interaction and all that sort of stuff. Because of this, it looks like, even though Unreal does have its own built-in compatibility with, the Quest 3, from what I've found, it's very verbose at the minute, where there's not a lot of there is a lot of packages within the sort of Unreal content store, but they're all user-generated, and a lot of it still requires quite a bit of setup from what I've seen. So we're going to be sticking to Unity 3D with all of this. So for instance, if you've never heard of this engine before, that is not how you spell Unity. Unity.com. So Unity is a game engine, and from what I've seen, the best sort of Meta designed and also Unity sort of designed example projects and packages seem to exist for Unity. So because of that, that seems to be the go-to place really for me. We need to make this as easy as possible. So to give you a bit more context, we're probably going to be using AI tools here. Consuming a lot of YouTube content. I'll try to reference anything that I use below and kind of go from there. So, in terms of what I was thinking of building, and this is probably quite ambitious, to be completely honest with you, as a starter project. But if you've ever heard of a game called Sid Meier's Railroads, absolutely love the game. I think it's Meier's, it's probably Sid Meier's. It was a game that came out years ago. It's essentially just a sort of railroad simulator, but it's more of a tycoon game where the general concept and idea is you sort of link cities together with railroads. And each of the cities have their own supply and demands and their own industries, so therefore the whole point of this is you're to compete against in the game, because it's so old, it was just artificial intelligence sort of players, but with this I quite fancy sort of putting a multiplayer aspect into this where it's purely you versus either a party that you invite, or again it could just be randoms on the internet. I think that'd be a nice touch. So as you can see, I'll launch it and I'll run you through just the general gist of what we are planning. I think I've got it installed. We do. I have a bad feeling this is going to launch on a different screen. Which it has. Fantastic stuff. While I work out how to quickly swap to another screen. Display capture. Sorry about this. This was not not the plan. There we go. So, as you can see, oh, my face is now hidden. Not that that really matters, to be completely honest with you, but let's bump that up just so you can see my pretty face while I talk you through this. So, yeah, Sid Meier's Railroads, as a basic concept, comes with a few maps. So you can see here we've got Great Britain, France, Germany, island hopping, a few sort of procedurally generated things, like none of this really, like obviously this isn't a real place. And it comes with settings such as, you know, specific times in history when it starts and stops at, and you've got a whole bunch of different types of people, and this is basically just your difficulty. You start off investors with 500,000, I think, in this one, and 100% of your stock as a company, and it goes all the way down to, oh no, sorry, it goes the other way, so you get, oh no, that is, yeah, so this is going to make it harder because you've got less money and you've got 3 starting stock and everything costs more. So generally that's how it is. You've got number of players, 3, it seems to be max. Technically speaking, I quite fancy making this a lot larger than just the maps that you see here. If we sort of procedurally generate a lot of this, we can create quite expansive land sort of terrains. And through that we could have potentially up to like 10 players joining these sessions without it getting too congested. Anyway, so let's just select one. It really doesn't matter, so let's just select this one. Okay. If you haven't played this game, highly recommend it. It genuinely is fantastic. It's very simple. Once you get the general gist of it, it kind of is a bit OP, to be honest with you. But you can see here we've got a starting city, and you have some supplies that you could send elsewhere. You have demands that this city would like, so you got passengers, mail, food, and then iron. And you could turn this, because we've got some processes, which is just the industries, which again you get 3 of in each. You can essentially, as long as you supply this, you could build cars, and then you could ship cars out to a place that demands cars. So because this place takes cows and it produces food, and this place demands food, you can see that we've essentially just got the option to build a rail, build a station, and now we've got this connection, but we need to first find some cattle to obviously make the food before we then send the food to this. So we can go down here and you can see this is sort of the industry breakdown, and also how much the supplies per carriage would make, and essentially this is just sort of the in-game economy. So we can do a lot of different things when it comes to this, you know, within our game. that we're planning on building. At the minute, they just sort of go up and down completely randomly. Most of the times, the automotives and this sort of manufactured goods are always at the top, and all of the sort of like raw materials are down the bottom. But again, we're going to have a think about these systems, see if there's anything interesting we can do. There's definitely stuff we can improve. As I say, this is very much just a list of prices and that's it. So we'll see what we can do on that front. Anyway, so as I was saying, we need to find some cattle. If we just click on livestock, you'll see that we have some cattle ranch down here. We've got another one down here, and so on and so on. In this case, we'll just connect our cattle ranch to our cattle ranch, if I can work out how the controls work again, to our wee town. And you can see here the interesting thing about this is sort of as we're building and laying tracks, there's a lot of stuff happening when it comes to like terraforming of land, where you're getting tunnels and things are going up and down. And for instance, if you were to like sort of create junctions off and sort of go across bridges and stuff like that. So this is probably going to get very complicated. As I was saying, this track system, in all honesty, is quite intimidating. But from what I've seen, Unity has a lot of good sort of like spline systems. And then there's going to be quite a lot of custom code to get. Again, well, I don't know how we're going to work out where bridges need to go and where tunnels need to go and stuff like that, but we'll get there. As I say, we'll get there. But anyway, now we've got this connection. Pretty sure I put one down here, yep. We can simply add a route. We click this, send all the cattle to here, and you'll see we get a wee train. I'm just going to speed this up, simulation up. Hopefully we get the gist. This is a very simple example, just one train line supplying essentially cattle. That turns it into food, and then we're going to create another train that takes the food that sort of builds up here because of that, and send that over here, and subsequently that's just going to get us more money, really. And at the top here you can see the last sort of small concept to this, which is all the different players are in the simulation. Blue is yourself. So at the minute, our company is worth 1.5 million. And we have 3 other companies. And again, you could sort of buy and sell stocks in their companies. Yeah, as I say, it works very much like if you're doing good, your company's going up in value. So therefore, again, you can then sell it, make a profit here and there. And it just works like a very simplistic stock market. But as we can see here, our train's coming into the station. We made all that money, and you can now see that the supply for food, because we've now supplied this, should start increasing, probably quite slowly. Yeah, there's one. We'll just create another train between this, which could take some food, send it over here, you can send some maybe mail and some passengers back. Okay, no, doesn't want passengers apparently. Whatever. So you can see here, we've now got some food. Package that up, and off it goes. And it then follows this route to this. So this is going to be where it gets complicated, because we're going to have to obviously have this route generation sort of thing where we tell what goods need to go where, but then from that point of view, we're also going to have to, I wouldn't say pathfind, because it's probably going to be a bit simpler than that. But in fact, no, let's touch wood on anything being simpler than I think it might be. It's probably not going to be. But yes, that's a general gist. And as you can see, the controls on PC allow you to sort of, if I move my mouse at the top, you move north, put it to the side, you move left and right, and down, you move down. And if I hold the middle mouse button, I sort of pan around. What I quite like to do, because we're obviously in VR here, we've got quite a lot of different sort of motion controls. So the Quest controllers if you've never used these before, allow you to do some quite interesting sort of things. So what I mean by that is you've sort of got these grab controllers, which allow you to sort of potentially scale the map, zoom in. You can sort of rotate the map just by doing this, as you're holding it and stuff like that. You can do quite a lot with the grab controls, and what I mean by this is if I come out of this, quit the desktop, and just give you a quick look at another concept which I kind of want to morph into this. If you've ever seen a game called Lego Brick Tales, this has a very similar motion control to what I want to sort of replicate. So hopefully someone will have a decent enough video.
I'm a kid of the night.
I'm sure this guy's video is very good, but it's not really demoing what I want. Here we go, maybe the trailer. So essentially what this allows you to do is you get sort of a small world that you're able to sort of rotate using those grip controls. And then you control a wee person. I mean, this is the mixed reality sort of side of it, but in general, we can sort of use the controls that are baked into this game to sort of, again, just make it quite appealing sort of system. Really isn't showing what I was talking about though. Hopefully I can find someone. That is a lot of VR headsets, dude. Fair play. Here we go. So you can see that from a control point of view, they're able to sort of spin the map, zoom into the map, control the wee person on the map, and do a whole bunch of unique things. So ideally we'll just have full interaction with the controllers, and potentially even just solid hand grips, but that's pushing out there. We'll focus on the simple stuff first, or potentially the simpler stuff first, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to cut this video short. We're going to get everything set up in the next video, from the editor through to the quest link, make sure that all the developer accounts are set up for MetaQuest to interact with the Unity editor. Get all the build settings set up, make sure we can play just a default level within the Quest or the PC. And generally just, again, make sure everything's set up. That's the general plan. So, yep, I'll catch you in the next video.